Presenting to Ms. Pooja Bedi. Presenting to Mr. Alec Padamsi. And presenting to Mr. Mark Robinson. I would now like to call upon Mr. Ranju Kumar Mohan, Director and Business Head, JK Ansel, to speak upon the brand's 25-year journey.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to thank all dignitaries on stage, our chairman, sir, Mr. Gautam Hari Singhania, Ms. Pooja Bedi, Mr. Alec Padamsi, and Mr. Mark Robinson and friends from the media. It's our pleasure to have you all here on this momentous occasion when Kama Sutra had just completed only 25 years. I'm honored to be a part of this glorious brand and now would like to take you through a brief journey of the brand. He visualized that 25 years ago. A journey of many firsts. It introduced the bold side of making love when people were talking protection at that time. It was the first condom brand with a women ambassador in the country. No other brand had that inside at the moment. It was a big decision at that moment of time. And Pooja Bedi became the face of the brand and still continues. It was also the first brand to launch flavored condom, which is the order of the day today. It had to be bold because people never liked talking about condoms at that. It was the first of the kind packaging in India, which was the wallet pack which you could carry in your pocket. It's a flat wallet pack which had sensuous picture which was hidden from the eyes of the consumer. So the road ahead for us, what do we do beyond condoms? So that was what the answer is we need to look at. So we said we will enhance the act. We will say not only about condom, it's about things which today people really seek for. It's the unknown pleasures, unknown experiences, and new experiences. So we had lovingly launched first of its kind in the country. Now I will request my colleagues to kindly hand over to the stage dignitaries the pack which they will be unveiled for today's program. I will request the dignitaries to kindly unveil this. It's one of the most seductive pack we have about first of this kind in the country. It's a package of many experiences. People will explore the sensuality and other experience, touch, feel, love, taste, whatever you call it. It's in this surprise box. It's a strawberry flavored lubricant. Thank you so much.
This 25th anniversary celebration, which is slightly different from the 25th anniversary celebrations that we go to for friends' weddings. It's a long journey, and I was just looking at all my friends on stage who have been associated with this brand from the first day. Obviously, because they're associated with this brand, they're all looking younger, especially Alex. So I guess this is what the brand does for you, huh? It's been a great journey. It's been 25 years since we launched a product that we believed in. Started with a very small beginning, but we addressed this market the way it should have been done. A lot of people criticized what we did, but I'm glad we stood the ground. And today, Kama Sutra has become not only a great brand in India, but also abroad. It started with condoms, it's got deodorants, it's got energy drinks, lubricants. It just shows how many different things that this position of this brand can take. Many brands, like Alex will also bear, don't last more than 5 or 10 years. So we're extremely proud that this brand has now done 25 years, which is the first quarter century, in a long milestone, long journey that it has to go. The market has changed over a period of time. And in this evolving market, Kama Sutra has actually stood out to be an extremely strong brand. The Raymond Group is a company that talks about brands, and Mark coincidentally pointed out to me just now, that's also 25 years of the Raymond Complete Man brand. So the Complete Man has been around for 25 years, also got launched around 1990-91. So I think brands that test the strength of longevity and go on for periods of time become true brands. And Kama Sutra has really become one of those brands, and also the only condom brand in the world which has probably got a brand extension into deodorants, energy drinks, lubricants, etc., with a potential to do a lot more. So it really speaks about the strength of the brand and where it can go. I'm extremely happy to be here, as this was one of the first brands that I was really associated with, the only one being the Indian Post, which was a media brand before this. So it's good to see that something we nurtured and sowed a seed of 25 years ago has reached where it has reached today. Moving forward, I think there's a long journey ahead. And with these few words, I'd like to wish the brand all its best, and thank you all for being here this afternoon.
Hello, everybody. All right. Gautam has spoken really eloquently about the brand and about the brand's journey and how it's diversified and grown from strength to strength. I guess I should speak from my personal experiences and also the shaping of consciousness, which is extremely important. So my personal journey began 25 years ago with Gautam calling me up and saying, you have this product and you have to be the face of this product. And I was really apprehensive because back then, speaking about sex was such a social taboo. And there were so many repercussions to associating with something like a condom brand. And I was just at the start of my career at that point of time. And Gautam said, you know, Pooja, this will take you to a level which is unimaginable. You will be so famous if you do this campaign. And then I'm thinking, famous or infamous? Famous or infamous? Which of the two is it going to be? So I asked my parents, what should I do? My father said, darling, you know how society is. You know how they will react. So if you want to go ahead, dig your little foxhole, shut the trap door, and wait for the sparks to fly. When the sparks are over, come up, and you'll be okay. My mother was so excited. She said, you must do this campaign. She said, sex is such a taboo in this country. Who is educating people on safe sex, on sexually transmitted diseases, on unwanted pregnancies? We need people to go out there and be the voice and the face for something like that. And back then, AIDS was considered a gay disease. It wasn't considered something that heterosexuals could get. There was a lot of misconceptions. So, armed with this wonderful opinionated feedback that I got, I embarked on this amazing journey with Kama Sutra 25 years ago. And it not only did it double my stardom, it doubled my fan following, or maybe tripled my fan following, and firmly established me as a sex symbol in this country back then, which was not very difficult to do. If you wore a bikini and looked sexy, it happened anyway. But thank you, Gautam. It took my brand, the brand Pooja Bedi also, to different levels altogether. It's something that I would never want to shake off as a tag because it's a sense of great empowerment for a woman to be sexy. A lot of people fear being sexy, at least back then. There was this whole thing about if you're a good girl, you'll wear clothes that are a certain way and you'll behave a certain way. And there's so much power and strength in being sexy, in being a woman. And in talking about sex and not just using a condom basically sex is supposed to be for procreation, not for recreation. So it's so nice that people talked about the importance of sex for recreation, which is what Kama Sutra did as a brand. And it basically enhanced the experience in every possible way. And that's something, again, we need to take forward in our country, because, you know, we talk about relationships being dysfunctional today because there's a lack of intimacy in the bedroom. So thank you, Kama Sutra, for constantly reinventing different tools and techniques, and now we have feathers and I think blindfolds, whatever, being launched in this wonderful honeymoon pack, and it's just so exciting, and thank you for presenting me one. And thank you for this amazing association over 25 years, and it's been a pleasure being a part of Kama Sutra. And Mark, do you realize that there have been like God knows how many models ever since, but it's just you and me that get called again and again and again and again and again and again, because somehow it's our ad that really created the impact. It was, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bedi. I would now request Mr. Alik Padamsi to say a few words. So there's a mic right in front of you if you'd like to use that. It's on the table there.
Friends, is it on? Friends, as you know, I've been associated with so many brands, you know, and so many iconic brands that, you know, people remember for years and years, whether it's Lalita Ji for surf, or whether it's the little girl in the waterfall, and so on and so forth. But I've never had the incredible feedback that I've had for the Kama Sutra brand. Thank you, Gautam. That was a wonderful opportunity we got at Lintas to create that brand. And what happened was, because for the first time in India and probably anywhere in the world, we were not talking about safety. We were not talking about family planning. We just said, well, Kama Sutra means for the pleasure of making love. Nothing to do with safety at all. When that campaign hit, within a week, I was hauled up before the ASCI, that is the Advertising Standards Council, and asked Mr. Padamsi, a long table of very wise-looking men, saying, how can you say something like, for the pleasure of making love? You must withdraw that ad at once. I said, excuse me, gentlemen, but if a Kama Sutra condom is not for the pleasure of making love, what is it useful for? Blowing balloons? So there was dead silence around the table, and they never asked me to come before them again. And it became history, that actually that's really what a condom is for. And the reason we created Kama Sutra was really to say that most condoms in those days, particularly the Nirod condom, which is a horrible, 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 ugly thing, and men were ashamed to wear it because it looked like a, you know, what they called it, "Arey, ochi is dirty rubber, dirty rubber." And here was something that was smart and elegant, had a beautiful name, not only a name associated with sex, but a name associated with one of the greatest books in the country, the Kama Sutra. And I can only say that I'm very happy to have had that opportunity. And it was Gautam who said to me, Alec, no one else but Pooja Bedi as the girl in the Kama Sutra ad. I said, Pooja Bedi is you know, not a very well-known star at the moment. She was just starting on her film career in Bollywood. He said, no, she's the girl, she's got everything. So I said, okay, we'll give it a try. And then we got Mark, who was a model at that time, very famous model. Said the pair of them took them to Goa, and the rest was history. And all I can tell you, people, is that for all the criticism I got, which I enjoyed, and people said, you know, I said, why are you always condemning sex? Why don't you condom it with Kama Sutra? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Padamsi. I would now request Mr. Mark Robinson to say a few words.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. When I think about or have to talk about Kama Sutra, two very important people in my life come to mind, people who bring back fond memories of KS. One was undoubtedly Prabhudas Dasgupta, who shot the campaign. He was my only insight and my only knowledge to the fashion industry and the modeling industry, the fraternity, because being a boy from Delhi, I knew Raymond's, but I wasn't that much clued into Alec or Gautam or Pooja because I was caught up in my own world in Delhi. So when Prabhudas asked me to shoot for a campaign, he didn't tell me quite what the campaign was, He was one of my closest friends, and I followed him blindly. I loved his work. I think he was more of an artist than a photographer. So when he asked me to come to go and shoot, it was a week before I was leaving for New York. My family was migrating to New York. I canceled my tickets, put them on hold, and I went to Goa to shoot, not knowing who I was meeting or what I was shooting for. The rest, as they say, is history. And I hadn't told my mother at that point in time, who had left for New York, and when she came back from New York about 2 months later, I went to pick her up from the airport, and she saw this hoarding outside the airport in New Delhi. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, my son, that boy looks just like you." I didn't tell her anything, but later on I did tell her that it was me. Well, I just want to thank Alec, thank Pooja, thank Gautam for the vision and for having me part of this campaign. I was just telling Gautam, 25 years ago, one of my finest campaigns that I also did with the Raymond Group was for The Complete Man. That was the first award the campaign actually got for The Complete Man. And so it's thanks to Raymond's, thanks to KS. I've been around now for a long time, and two brands that were and are the hallmark for me and for what I do in the industry. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon to all. This is Raj, member of the press from spicystarsmumbai.com. Just for
It's very strange because everything back then was so unstructured. You didn't know what you were getting into. So I naturally had reservations because I didn't know the nature of what was being shot. So I said, remember? So I said, okay, I said, I'll do this, but, and I thought, how do I protect my interests? And I said, I want a no nipple clause. And there was silence, and they said, a what? And I said, I want a no nipple clause. And they said, how do we structure that in the contract? What do we write? I said, you will write that under no, I didn't know. I said, maybe my hands will be across my chest, which they were. And, I said, in no situation whereby there's a wardrobe malfunction in some manner, should any of this be, put into print. And so that was one really funny moment, but very important moment for me. So I think the challenge, even for Kama Sutra as a brand, was it was something so new going out there into the market. We didn't know what was coming up. I mean, later the British tabloids heralded it as the beginning of the sexual revolution in India, and it was, it sort of went up to those proportions. But I think for us as a brand, back then, if you actually see the photos, if you read Alec's book, and he says, if you see the photographs, Pooja's fully clothed actually. He says she's wearing a bathrobe, or she's wearing a trikini. It's fully clothed. It's just the expressions. It's the sensuality. It's the way it was shot. It was the moment that was so special and so erotic in appeal that if you actually look at it, there's actually no skin show. And that's the most amazing challenge for the brand, to get it out there, to be able to publish it, to be able to release it in a very conservative India, and not have people be able to say, no, this is vulgar, this is whatever, because it was one of the most erotic and aesthetic campaigns that was shot.
ओके गौतम, आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा, जिस वक्त ये 25 साल पहले आपने शुरुआत करी इस कैंपेन की, यकीनन उस वक्त बहुत एतराज़, बहुत लोगों ने खिलाफत करी होगी इस बात की. हाउ डू यू सी दिस, और आज दुनिया बदल चुकी है पूरी तरह से. आज यू कैन टॉक अबाउट एनीथिंग. तो हाउ डू यू व्हाट यू थॉट व्हाइल वर्किंग ऑन दिस कैंपेन, और क्या आपको इस बात का कहीं एहसास था कि इतना विवाद होगा, इतना लोग एतराज़ करेंगे? और नाउ यू आर द ट्रेंड सेटर हु स्टार्टेड ऑल दिस.
Well, 25 years ago, when I was given this job to do this brand, I said very clearly that there should be no holds barred. We are going to sell condoms, we're not selling achar and chutney. And that's why when Alex and me also met, we said, let's bring sex out of the closet. People used to talk, Nirod, ek, do, bas, no fuss. That was the line. And that's exactly what it was. I don't think people understood, I don't think even we understood what kind of a revolution we were going to create. I remember there used to be a magazine then called Debonair, and we took the whole 23 pages of advertising in that magazine. And Debonair was the Indian Playboy type of magazine. And people never understood, but we said, might cost, I think, some 20 lakhs, I think it cost at that time, but it was a hell of a lot of money, but even Pooja charged me an arm and a leg. But
I told him, I said, Gautam, you can't afford me. And he said, excuse me? I said, Gautam, you can't afford me. And he said, how much?
so it was everything we did at that time was path-breaking. And I think as a group, as an organization, we're always trying to set the next benchmark, the next level. Even today, I said, like, we could have been very satisfied with just doing condoms, but I think our deodorants business today is larger than the condom business. And it just shows that the power of the brand is what it is, because people actually use more deodorants than the condoms today. And that's how you make a brand actually grow exponentially over a period of time. We launched energy drinks, which had some issues for FDA reasons, which is different. But I believe the energy drinks business could have become bigger, because this is the only energy drink in the sexual space. We own this sexual space. What's the next thing we can do?
Okay, Pooja, what's your take on that? 25 years back, now the people who are criticizing you now might be, definitely they'll be standing with you at the moment. How do you see the whole journey, दुनिया भर के और आज आप Bollywood or the people who belongs to Bollywood always a soft targeted people.
Well, therefore the journey is successful. Therefore, if something has been met with great opposition to a great degree with us, but goes on to winning awards, goes on to winning multiple advertising awards, goes on to creating a different sensibility, opens people's minds, gets people to start talking, gets people to start the process of saying, oh, let's enjoy sex, let's bring it out of the closet. Today, if things are where they are, it's because the seeds have been sown back then. Because people started throwing the stones into the water to create the ripples, and today the ripples have become waves. So it's clearly a story that's gone from success to success.
So, Mr. Gautam Singhania, since India is called the land of Kam Sutra from the beginning itself, and it has been mentioned in the Vedas even. So, don't you think that it is the big irony for India talking about the sex, saying that it's a big taboo talking about the sex? And so, how much proud you feel to take the credit of being a revolutionary man creating a brand like this?
I think it's extremely proud. I think, pre-1990 when we launched condoms, are you telling me people were not having sex? Of course they were. We were a hypocritical society. People were doing it behind closed doors. The problem was that condoms was a need and a requirement. And if you're going to sell a condom, you need to talk about selling a condom. There are people who are out there who are having sex, and all our research showed there was even a category of a student who we call the wallet category, who always carried a condom in his wallet. So that means the school guys were also having sex, but the fact is somebody needs to tell them there's nothing, he's going to do it in any case. Somebody needs to tell him that, if you're going to do it, but do it safely, do it with this product. There are so many things we don't want to address in life. But if you don't address a problem, we're never going to solve it.
I'd like to add something there. I'd just like to add that, if it hadn't been for Kama Sutra and its amazing popularity, the population of India today, instead of being 1.3, would have been 2.3 billion.
Hello. So here. Congratulations to Team Kama Sutra. My question is to Mark sir. So 25 years back, the same you look today also.
Thank you very much.
So what is
That's the power of the brand.
Okay, yeah, that was good one.
Yeah, the power of the brand, it's a pleasure of making love. I think, you have to enjoy what you do. I think KS is an extremely good brand, having used it, and the pleasure of making love. Alex and Gautam, absolutely fabulous, and congratulations to their vision. I think it's what all the youth and the elders wanted at that point in time, and it was just awesome. And well, here we are 25 years later, and thanks for all your support and well wishes.
So my question, Alex sir. Sir, when you selected both of them, yes sir, yeah. When you selected both of them, you thought that they'll be that young and after 25 years also? Both Pooja and Mark.
Now, all I can say is that I did not select Pooja. It was Gautam who selected Pooja. I selected Pooja's father for a play I did some years before that called Tughlaq, and I selected Kabir Bedi, and that's where he started his acting career. By the way, talking about sexiness, in that play, the opening scene, which people who have seen it have never forgotten, was my good friend Kabir in the nude in front of the audience, in front of a live audience. It looked like nude, but actually we covered it very carefully. And so he also became very famous in a slightly different way from you, Pooja. But what it is, it's really, I absolutely agree, it's hypocrisy. We have been a country that has indulged in sex shamelessly, and therefore the population has gone into the billions, but nobody ever talks about it. And Kama Sutra, because number one, the name Kama Sutra was a kind of a very, it was in a sense sexy, but it was a name with a lot of, shall we say, gravitas. It was talked about in, in psychological books and so on and so forth. So I think it's good that we are now, the millennials, the people born after the year 2000, the millennials in India are now throwing off the old shackles of don't talk about this, don't talk about that, don't talk about homosexuality, don't talk about lesbians, don't talk about this. And now today, we are not only free from the British Raj, but we are free from our own inhibitions. And I think Kama Sutra, I won't say led the way, that would be too pompous, but I would say it was one of the things that opened people's eyes to the idea that sex is a very human activity.
मेरा सवाल पूजा जी से है, जैसे कि आजकल देखा जाए तो आज भी लोग कॉन्डम्स लेने के लिए बहुत हिचकिचाते हैं, तो उसके ऊपर आपका क्या राय है?
जितना हम सेक्स के बारे में बात करेंगे, जितना हम टैबू हटाएंगे, उतनी आसानी से लोग केमिस्ट पे जाके ये खरीद सकते हैं. आजकल ऑनलाइन भी सब कुछ मिलता है, so that's become very easy. If you don't want to go to a chemist and say, kuch dena, whatever, I don't know what, you guys know how best you all ask for it. So, how many of you all, by the way, I'm asking all the men here, how many of you all can openly, confidently go to a chemist and buy a condom? Put your hands up. Very hesitantly, even hands are not coming up confidently. See, this is my point. So this is my point, that, even people like you all who are educated, who are aware of all these things, there's this sense of we can't ask for it, so there's an online option, that's one. Secondly, I think parents need to start talking openly to their kids about it. Because if parents talk openly to their kids about it, then you are opening the pathway for this to be acceptable. The more you're in an environment that makes it unacceptable, then your conditioning is to see it as something that is associated with shame or guilt and, it's not okay. That mindset needs to change, and parents are the most influencing factors in a child's life and can shape generations by simply just talking freely about it.
Thank you so much. I'm afraid we have run out of time, so for anybody who has more questions can ask them on one-on-one later. But thank you so much. I would like to thank the panel. It has been an absolute fun event, as I would